So in chapter 1155, we now know that Buggy and XEBEC have struck the same pose in their wanted posters. Tongue sticking out, hand grasping towards the camera. The allegations go even deeper. The Buggy agenda grows even stronger. However, what has been brought up recently, and I have to give myself a pat on the back for this because I called it, people have been noticing a very interesting similarity between XEBEC's name and Buggy's name. What I initially brought up was that it was very interesting that both of them had vehicle names. A buggy is a type of land vehicle, and a XEBEC is a sailing vessel. However, big shout out to my Discord moderator, Minnie, on my Discord, The Digital Burrow, because he brought this to my attention first, and since then I have been seeing it on many a social media app. However, if you translate XEBEC from Vietnamese into English, you get the word truck. Now, a truck could be considered a buggy because a buggy could be seen as a general term for any land-based vehicle with 2 or 4 wheels. And we know Buggy the Clown in the actual series has become a car. And he's the only one who's ever done this in the canonical series of One Piece. He actually becomes a car. So, even though Rox D. XEBEC has been confirmed to be the father of Marshall D. Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard, it's very odd that parallels between XEBEC and Buggy keep growing and growing and growing, especially when you consider the pose that they both strike in their respective wanted posters. Another very odd thing that I have talked about, but no one else has spoken about as far as I know, don't you find it odd that Whitebeard, the right hand to XEBEC, presumably, loved Buggy? Every time the Roger Pirates comes up in the current story, Whitebeard is always talking about Buggy very fondly. We see this for the first time when Shanks meets Whitebeard, and Whitebeard asks Shanks about the funny little red-nosed boy they used to hang around. Don't you find that weird? I find that very strange. Another weird time is during Marineford, in which Whitebeard seems very nostalgic towards Buggy as he's talking to him, and when Marco asks if he's a big threat, Whitebeard says no, but the goons that he brought from Impel Down might be, so it's best to keep them in our good graces. It's very strange that in his own way he's vouching for him, and it's odd given that he has this whole theme of being a father to his crew that he treats Buggy like a nephew, like his own son in a way. I find that very suspicious, and looking from how XEBEC and Whitebeard seem to interact in the past, it seems like Whitebeard was the counterbalance to XEBEC, the moral one, the fatherly one. So I don't know. It's very interesting. Something to look out for. But to continue, it seems pretty clear that one is related to the other, not to mention that XEBEC appears to be wearing face paint, and Buggy has always been depicted, especially in the current story, wearing different types of face paint. So I could honestly see Buggy being the younger son of Rox D. XEBEC. A lot of things are adding up in that way. But with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. What?